Now, anyone who follows you closely should know by now that you don't get tired, which
I don't.
I suppose is a blessing, since if I'm not mistaken, you...
It's a gift and a curse.
Okay.
Because every time I say it's a gift and a curse, because I never get tired and I never age.
Right.
So I outlive every lover that I've ever been with.
Right.
Not alluding to anything, no. Those who get it will. Those who don't, they just won't.
Right. And another reason why I would see it as a blessing is because, if I'm not mistaken, you tend to have difficulty sleeping due to being that you suffer from severe cases of depression, a condition typically associated with the gloomy color gray. However, I understand one of your most joyous moments today actually came thanks to a gray Cadillac, ironically.
A gray Cadillac?
A gray Cadillac?
What gray Cadillac?
Like the first time you had ever heard your music played in a car?
Oh, no, let me tell you. The first time I ever heard one of my songs being played, it was a gray four-door Cadillac driving down the street.
Right.
That was one of my answered prayers, one of my hopes, one of my dreams, one of my wishes.
Yeah.
Coming true. Coming into existence. So that was just a remarkable moment for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was unexpected. Excuse me, it was unexpected. I wasn't expecting it.
Exactly.
Excuse me, I'm real passionate about it, so sometimes I might stumble over words.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for me to see that car go down the street and just hear,
yeah,
Wayne had a song called Bring It Back to the Bottom of the Map, and I rapped over the instrumental.
Wow.
And when I rapped over the instrumental, I heard it just going
crazy.
I was like...
Was that in 07 by chance? Because I understand
that was way before 07
really?
And 06.
Okay.
That was like 2004, I want to say.
Wow.
It was before Katrina had to happen.
Really? Okay.
Right.
Because I understand that 07 was the last time you can recall truly being happy. So, what was it about that time period in particular?
I was in a different realm of existence then. I was in a different realm, and I was completely engulfed within the realm that I was in. And what was so beautiful about it was because it was pure. It was me at my purest moment.
Yeah.
It was when socially no one truly accepted me as an individual. They respected me.
Yeah.
But no one truly accepted me socially.
Okay.
Because I'm so withdrawn. I'm aloof.
Yeah.
And I get away from,
Yeah.
I don't like to be around a lot of people.
Right.
Because, when you're intelligent, when you're too intelligent, sometimes you tend to analyze things excessively.
Yeah.
And I've always been that type of individual, excessively analytical. And because I've been that type of individual, I always look at things like from 8 different sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I try to look at things from all angles. And because I do so, most people are just simple. They just start the stupid in 2.2 seconds. Now, I've always been a big skeptic. I always asked why. I always pondered. I always did my own collective study on anything that I was interested in.
Yeah.
And when you live a life like that, it kind of puts you in a box because most individuals aren't into the things that I'm into.
Right.
I'm not into anything material. I don't care about material things. I got a bent up hat, and I wear it all the time. People are like, why you always wear that raggedy hat? Because it's my favorite hat.
Yeah.
I don't care if people don't like it. It's my favorite hat.
Right. I had that situation with a sweatshirt that I used to always wear in interviews. People would comment saying, don't you have any other sweatshirts?
If I like it, I'm going to wear it till it can't be worn anymore.
Right.
And that's just me.
Yeah.
Why can't I have a favorite pair of shoes or a favorite pair of jeans?
Right.
And I was ridiculed for that.
Uh-huh.
Not in a bad way.
Right.
But peer pressure is one of the most dangerous things.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm gonna talk about things in this interview I never talked with
any
other interviewer about.
Once again, I appreciate it.
Believe that.
And I understand that your depression stems mostly from unresolved grief and inability to let go.
Unresolved grief, inability to let go, because my mind is so methodical
that
it just keeps playing it over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I relive the mistake 1,000 times every day.
Yeah. However, I understand you do feel connected to all things spiritually, though, and are of the belief that we never truly lose or gain anything.
Right. Right. I truly believe that. That's like when people say rest in peace to my brother Dobie. I don't say rest in peace to him. He's still here.
Yeah.
And you can't see him. I can.
Because anything lost can be found again except for time wasted, right?
Correct.
Now, I'm actually the same way, but do you, being that you're very self-aware, do you in any way see that being like a situation of denial, or do you really just feel that deep of a connection to things?
If I'll say this, I watched my grandfather be put in the ground. But the moments that we shared, the wisdom, the knowledge that he imputed, his spirit will live on forever through me. Don't make yourself a target. When I walk into certain situations, I just hear his voice clear. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
You got to hear with your ears. You know, or you got to hear with your eyes and see with your ears.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Yeah. Because everything I see, I understand. And everything I hear, I look at.
Yeah.
Now I understand what that means. I understand the metaphor of it all.
Right.
He used to speak in parables a lot.
Yeah.
Those who get it, get it. Those who don't, don't. And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned fully engulfing yourself in every moment.
Every
which,
moment.
You know, you touched on the fact that that keeps you from being consumed by the past, which...
Right. That's like earlier before the interview. I wasn't feeling well.
Oh, really?
You know, I relapsed thinking about, something that went on in the past. Because everything's a trigger.
Yeah.
Everything around you is a trigger. You can see one little thing and it'll make you... There you go, back to the depression mode.
And
like when I came here, I was like, man, it'd have been nice if so-and-so or such and such would have been with me. It'd have been nice if my family could have been here to enjoy this with me.
Yeah.
The people I started this with. You know what I'm saying? You want that.
Yeah.
But then, whatever's meant to be will be.
Right.
And I accept it. I accept the things that I cannot change.
Right. Does any of that mindset also come from growing up, just not knowing when you might die or go to jail? Or
it's a lot of violence.
Yeah.
It's a lot of violence where I'm at. A lot. And because there's so much violence, you learn to cherish things because you never know when you'll have to depart from them.
Yeah.
So I learned how to live with and live without.
And I know you've done your fair share of Josen, but are not, however, trapped within the confines of masculinity. Now, that vulnerability and sensitivity that you are so willing to exude could potentially be perceived as weakness. Oh, he's showing emotion, he's a pussy. But do you,
guess what?
Conversely, would you agree that that's actually...
Guess what? Whenever it's perceived as weakness and an individual looks at it as weakness and they say, I'm going to go with this move because that's weak, you underestimated your opponent.
Yeah.
I win.
I personally see that as more strength and confidence on your part, like given your lack of insecurity on the issue. Would you?
It ain't that. I just don't care what nobody think about me.
Right.
Because I never hear it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm never really on social media. Every now and then I go on there and respond. I like to go in there and talk to, my following.
Yeah.
My family, that's what I like to call them.
Yeah.
I go on there and talk to them. Other than that, I don't care what nobody say about me.
And to thine own self be true anyways, right? You'd rather be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not?
Yeah. All you got to say, I don't like Kevin Gates. He too smart. He read books. And he a gangster. And I don't like him.
So it never makes your blood boil or anything when people misunderstand you? Because it seems to happen quite a bit lately.
No. Because I've been getting this all my life.
Right.
My own family. You ain't nothing. You ain't going. Yeah. I don't know why you so hateful. You riding your load out. I've heard those things.
Yeah.
But I know who I am.
Exactly. And with songs like White Tan, I suppose it wouldn't be too far-fetched to assume that. I'm sorry.
No, we good. I just want to hear the question.
Okay. with songs like White Tan and a few others, I suppose it wouldn't be, too far-fetched to assume that you know a thing or two about flipping bricks. However, I understand you're not into playing mental gymnastics.
Yeah, but when we talk about that, I don't glorify those things.
Right.
When I speak about those things, I speak about those things from the perspective of one's survival.
Absolutely.
Surviving.
Yeah.
It's a jungle out there.
Yeah.
And if you're not, with it, it's easy to get lost.
Yeah. And you may not be made out of concrete.
Not at all.
But, you do have a line in one of your songs, Smiling Faces, I believe, that says, keep a sharp observation, allowing no infiltration of those you let in your circle.
Like right now, not to cut you off.
No, absolutely.
I'm exhibiting vulnerability.
And I appreciate it.
I'm exhibiting vulnerability with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in me exhibiting that vulnerability, an analyzation process is going on also.
Yeah.
So I'm watching how you respond to my vulnerability.
Yeah.
This allows me to know if I could keep going or stop.
Yeah.
Cease fire.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that analyzation process. Would that be the spiritual gift of discernment that you have?
I don't want to say that I have a spiritual gift of discernment, but I do have a gift. I just know. When I meet a person, they ain't got to say 2 words to me. I'm not judging or anything. No good.
Yeah.
Him, good. Her, no good. Her, no good.
Right.
All I got to do is look you in your eyes.
Are you of the mindset, then, that our mind is our greatest protection?
I believe my presence is my greatest protection.
Right.
My presence is my protection.
Yeah.
Just being in my presence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna allude to say that I have a strong aura or anything like that.
Right.
But people pick up on psychokinetic energy.
Absolutely.
Unknowingly.
Yeah.
They unknowingly pick up on it.
Yeah.
When somebody had an argument and you walk in the room afterward, you can feel the tension in the room. I've read in books where people said the tension was so thick you could cut through it with a knife.
Yeah.
That was the cliche that they used. So people unknowingly, subconsciously, they pick up on psychokinetic energy.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I say, rest in peace to my grandfather. You got to do me like you do him. You couldn't play with him because I ain't nothing to play with.
Right.
And people know that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
exhibit vulnerability and everything.
Yep.
But they also know, man, just as good as it could get that bad.
Yeah. And I know, on that subject, I know you've always been a keeper of your loved ones, hence the Luca Brasi
I'm a
comparisons.
protector.
Absolutely.
I'm the BWA. I'm the breadwinner enforcer.
Is it true, though, that you actually spent some time back in the day as an actual bodyguard?
To an extent.
Can you explain?
I don't really want to say I was a bodyguard, but I protect the people that I love.
Okay.
At all costs.
Yeah.
And I always been a good thinker. I wasn't always big and things of that nature, but I always was able to think.
Yeah.
So if I can outthink you, I beat you. I win.
Yeah. And
mental gymnastics.
Yeah. And if someone were to cross you, I know it could, quote, get Afghanistan.
I don't know. I couldn't say what it'd do.
Yeah.
I couldn't say because, like I could say, man, if somebody do this, I'm going to do this. I don't know what my reaction would be.
True.
And I don't want to say anything and not live up to what I said.
Yeah.
So I don't know I don't know what's going to happen.
That's fair.
But I know this. I don't accept disrespect. I do not tolerate it. But I never have to because I give everyone my respect first.
Yeah.
You got to really just be having a bad day. And then with the plateau that I'm on now, I'll walk away.
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to do, you ain't worth what's going to come behind it.
And love is
so the best thing for me to do if I foresee a problem or something that could potentially be a problem, I'm going to vacate the premises. I'm going to remove myself from that setting.
Yeah.
I have to. Because I have a lot of people that depend on me. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. Other people may have chances. I don't have any more chances.
And with this being, with this being your only shot, I guess.
I'm going to cherish it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy every moment.
I know you have, you mentor the youth through the program, the Achievement Academy.
I've been busy on tour, so I haven't been doing it lately how I would like to. But as soon as I get some downtime, and shout out to my brother, Lamont Cole. It's like a brother to me. I used to spend the night at his house all the time.
Yeah.
Like a brother.
And
good guy. He stand for the right things.
Right.
And that's what I respect. I respect a man of morals and principles. Like a lot of people say, Kevin Gates may not be safe, but God damn it, he's good.
Yeah. And
right.
Lastly, I know that one of the main things that you stress with them when you are mentoring them is decision making.
Life is about the choices and the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
If you knew the consequences behind a bad choice or a bad decision, would you still make it? Because, like I say, it was easy to break the law when you're ignorant of the law.
Yeah.
Because you're not knowing how severe those consequences are.
Right.
But if you go speak to a lot of those individuals, they'll tell you, I wish I hadn't have did what I did. Because the consequences weren't worth the reward. It wasn't worth it.
You mentioned earlier, though, on that same token, that you know, what's meant to be will be anyways. So how do you balance the two?
What you mean?
Well, I guess.
Like expound, like, cause
yeah.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna guess.
Yeah.
So I wanna be able to better, you know, give you a correct answer.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. You know, because on the one side of things, you know, here's the decision making, there's consequences to that, but then on the other end, there's what's meant to be will be anyways.
Right.
So do you mean that you feel as if things are predetermined, or that they're just?
No, I don't allude to the predetermined idea.
Yeah.
That's the theory of things being predetermined. When I say what's meant to be will be, I'm simply speaking for the things that are outside of my control.
Right.
I can make a million plans, but my plan doesn't always go according to plan. Exactly. It may happen, but it's not going to happen exactly how I wanted it to happen. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. Now, as far as when you say predetermined, I like that you asked that question. That's the first time I've been asked that question. I believe every individual has a sovereign will. They have a will. If I do the wrong thing, I'll get this type of result. If I do the right thing, I'll get this type of result.
You mentioned some things being out of your control. Do you have any view towards the butterfly effect then? Because that sounds with that, like, you know, like something
to an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent. To an extent, I do.
Okay.
But to another extent, no, because sometimes there is reward in the wrong decision.
Yeah.
It may have been a great reward for the person that made the wrong decision.
True.
Sometimes it's a negative when you make the right decision.
Yeah. Just never know.
Yeah. So, but I believe they both, you know, I guess, they coincide with each other.
Yeah.
I say that.
Okay.
For lack of a better term, they coincide with each other.
Right.
But it's all in how you look at it.
Yep.
Because, I mean, just dealing with psychology, with the individualistic approach, what's right for one person may not be right for the next. What's wrong for one person may not be wrong for the next.
Yep.
So I feel like if it harms none, do what thou wilt.
On that note, thank you so much for your time, man. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Right, brother. It was
Best
nice
wishes with everything coming your way. Absolutely.
I appreciate you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there watching?
My Instagram is official BWA. Again, that's at official BWA or at I am Kevin Gates. My Twitter is at Kevin_Gates. If you don't have by any means, you can get it off of iTunes or you can get it for free. BWA, it's a way of life. I don't get tired.
There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Kevin Gates. Thanks for watching.